Good morning, everyone. In behalf of Group 2, I am Jerica Jerish de Villa, and I'm with my co-researchers Karen Eyas and Alexandria Guerrero, and we are here to present to you our research titled Assessment on Financial Performance of Small Businesses in Imus City, Cavite during Economic Recession.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jerica Jersey de Villa from Group 2, and I will discuss to you our research introduction. Our research is all about the assessment of financial performance of small businesses in Imus Cavite during economic recession. So this study aims to know the impact of economic recession in financial performance of small businesses. And we conduct this research to know the disadvantages and advantages of economic downturn to small businesses. Recession is a period of declining in economic performance, and it affects all businesses. But as we all know, small businesses hits the hardest because they are less likely to receive government bailouts during downturn. And this research might help our future entrepreneur to develop their positive attitude, to learn how to adapt things, to make a good strategic plan, and to make their business recession ready. And knowing the impact of economic downturn to small businesses are the goal of this study.
These research questions will be further explained in the objective of the study. In addition to describing and analyzing small business over the crisis and its aftermath, this study will determine the financial performance of small businesses in Imus Cavite during an economic recession. More specifically, this study aims to answer the following research questions. Number 1. What is the demographic profile of an entrepreneur participants in the selected part of Imus Cavite in terms of name, age, gender, residency, and employment status? Number 2. What are the factors that could affect the performance of small business in terms of long-term business performance and short-term business performance? Number 3. What is the response of small businesses to recession condition in terms of reduced cash flows, loss of demand, staffing reductions, and marketing constraints? Number 4. What business strategies do small business owners use to sustain their business in terms of competition strategy, differentiation strategy, cost leadership strategy, growth strategy, and environmental factors? Number 5. Is there any significant impact when developing a business strategy to operate a small business? And lastly, can small businesses provide the future growth that will create new opportunities as the economy emerges from recession? The objectives that is driving this research is first to identify the demographic profile of an entrepreneur participants in the selected part of Imus Cavite. So, the purpose behind writing this study is to investigate the demographic components that influence the achievements of business persons in respect of small businesses in the Philippines. Number 2, to determine the factors that would affect the performance of small businesses. We want to examine how certain economic and social factors could influence the short-term and long-term business performance of the small businesses. Number 3, to deliberate the response of small business owners in recession condition. After the initial business opening, growth can be one of the most exciting times of any entrepreneur. However, the period of growth may not always be sustainable because each business has its ups and downs. Therefore, we want to examine what could be the possible response of the small business owners during an economic downturn. Number 4, to determine the business strategies that the small business owners use to sustain their business. We want to know what could be the initial steps for recovery of small business owners who refuse to give up during a recession. Number 5, to pinpoint the significant impact when developing a business strategy in operating a small business. Entering a business is a gamble, and we want to know if building a specific business business strategy will be an absolute necessity to increase the odds of success of small businesses. And lastly, To distinguish its small businesses provide the future growth that will create new opportunities as the economy emerges from recession. Growth is considered as a phenomenon which is determined by the various factors in and out of control by the owner on the management of small businesses. And we want to know what could be the possible contribution of small business owner in the future economic conditions. Thank you.
So, the importance of this study is to provide further information regarding the financial performance of small businesses during economic recession. Well, the purpose of this study is not just to know the impact of economic recession to their financial performance, but also it aims to provide benefits and significance to the following variables. First is the small business owners. Well, this research will help them to know what are the possible events to happen to their financial performance during economic recession. Also, this can help them see and avoid possible circumstances that can affect their financial performance during economic recession. Second is the entrepreneurs. Well, this research can teach them on how they can manage properly their financial performance during economic recession. Also, it will give them knowledge on how effective their plans and decision when it comes to their financial performance when facing economic recession. Third is the consumers. Well, this study will provide them information on how they affect and what are their roles to the small businesses for their financial performance during economic recession. Well, for the future business owners, this can be their guide on how they can avoid and manage properly their business financial performance during recession. And it can also be their background for their future plans and future decisions for their businesses. And for the future researchers, this study can be their guide, reference, or related literature for their study. Also, it can give factual supporting ideas for their research.
The scope and limitation of the study. So this study is limited among the small businesses entrepreneur in Imus, Cavite. And it aims to know the impact of economic recession in the financial performance of selected small businesses. And we will only focus on 30 small entrepreneur, not included entrepreneur with big businesses such as commerce and corporation, nor individual who does not have any businesses.
So for our theoretical framework, well, this contains relevant books and journals that will elaborate and serve as a supporting information for our research. Well, in the first article or book in the theoretical framework is from the Why Small Businesses Were Hit Harder by the Recent Recession. Well, according to this study, that small firms with poor sales and economic uncertainty were the main reasons why their performance is weak and sluggish. Also, one factor is that weak consumer demands to their products and services is also a big factor that affects their financial performance during recession. Second is according to the Management Research Review that states that the more innovative and proactive the firm is, the lesser the effect of recession to their firm. Also, it states that the more risk-taking the firm is, the more its profitability is affected by the recession. Next is according to the Measuring Entrepreneurial Businesses, Current Knowledge and Challenges. Well, according to this study, the financial crisis and Great Recession affected the vast majority of the small firms or small businesses, including their tight credit constraints. Also, the workers' job loss and the factors affecting their financial performance. It also states that the survival of the small businesses were um, problematic to identify. Next is according to the Entrepreneurship Theory and Practice Journal. Well, according to this journal, that small businesses manage risk with the congruent use of cash and equity, use of long-term assets as collateral for their long-term debts, and use of accounts payable and other current debt to finance receivables and inventories. Well, these results increased understanding of the sources and use of funds for the small businesses. And also it indicates the financing strategy tend to evolve as firms grow. So for going from the theory and concept, I will now discuss the conceptual framework of our research. This will serve as the guide of our research that we were investigating. For the input, we indicated the demographic profile of the respondents, the factors that affect business performance, recession conditions, and the business strategies. For the demographic profile of the respondents, under these are the name, age, gender, residency, and employment status. For the factors affecting the business performance are the short-term and the long-term performance. For the recession condition, these are the reduced cash flows, loss of demand, staffing reductions, and marketing constraints. And for our business strategies, under these are the competition strategies, differentiate strategies, cost leadership strategies, and growth strategies, and their environmental factors. For the process, we will be using the statistical tools to gather all the data and to know the results of this research. Under these statistical tools are the frequency and percentage distribution, the mean median mode, the standard deviation, and also graphs. And for our output are the data gathered results of the financial performance of small businesses in Imus City, Cavite during economic recession. And for our outcome is our main title or our main topic, which we were investigating. It's the assessment of financial performance of small businesses in Imus City, Cavite during economic recession.
For some terms that are conceptually and operationally defined in our studies, we prepare a definition of terms for better understanding of the readers. Number 1, allocation, a systematic distribution of financial quantity resources. Number 2, bailouts, an act of giving financial assistance to a failing business. Capital refers to the financial resources that business can use to fund their operations. Coronavirus, a large family of viruses that can cause respiratory illness. Downturn occurs when the value of stocks, property, and commodities fall and the productivity grows more slowly or declined. Employment, a paid work agreement. ECQ or extended community quarantine, a total lockdown restricting the movement of the populations. Financial performance, a subjective measure of how well a firm can use assets and generate revenues. GDP or gross domestic product is the total market value of all financial goods and services produced within a country. Interest rate, amount loaned which lender charges as interest. Investment, a purchase that is completed with money that has the potential to produce income. Liquidity can be converted into cash without affecting its market price. Lockdown, emergency protocol implemented by the authority that prevents people leaving a given area. Recession, a decline in general economic activity in designated region. Small businesses, an independently owner and company that is limited in size. And lastly, unemployment. It occurs when a person unable to find a work or job.
And so let's proceed to the chapter 2, and inside of our chapter 2, we have the RRL and synthesis. In RRL, we conduct a foreign and local literature that related and relevant to our studies. And in synthesis, we explain how the various concepts of each sources link with each other.
Answering why do we want to pursue this study? Well, we want to pursue this study because as financial management students, this study will help us know and give us knowledge and ideas on how these small firms manage their financial performance during economic recession. Also, knowing what are the factors affecting the financial performance of these businesses will surely help us in the future events when when the time comes that we or um, us financial management students face this kind of situations or events in our lives. Well, as a students or as a financial students, we have this mindset that we also want to have our own business, or we also want to build our own business, and uh, all businesses started from small businesses. So this study will surely help us know what are the advantages and disadvantages of these impacts and effects of financial performance during economic recession.
So, the beneficiary of this study, of course, the small business owner, because we conduct this research for them to be more aware about what will happen to their financial performance during economic downturn. And it will give them some tips to what to do or what the best strategy during economic downturn. And for the future entrepreneur, for them to be more ready for unexpected events. And to the future researcher, it can be guide to the research as well as reference. So, for number 3, what are the impacts to the society? Our study aimed to give general understanding on what really happens on small businesses sector during a recession and how they are still capable of achieving growth in an economic crisis. This will be enabled to the society to speculate about the potential contributions of small businesses to the future economic growth, such as providing new jobs and economic prosperity to the near future. So, the respondent of this study, we will focus on 30 small business entrepreneur in Imus, Cavite.
Answering question number 5, well, we will surely gather information for our research, or for this research we want to investigate. First, we did not pick this topic just because. We did pick this topic because we want to know more about this topic. As a financial management students, we aim to know and have knowledge about the financial performance of different businesses. But as our research stated that we want to gather information through the small businesses, um, of course, businesses started from small businesses before becoming big enterprises or big corporations or big businesses. Well, as we know, as we as we research or investigate through the small businesses, we will surely have knowledge and ideas on what what are they doing, or what are the plans and decisions they are making during recession for their financial performance. And this will surely help us also know what are the plans and decisions that big companies did during recession.